Well, hello, Viking fans, and welcome to this playoff edition of Viking Talk with Coach Josh Morgan. I'm Brandon Davis, and as always, glad to have with me Warren Central head football coach Josh Morgan. Coach, good to see you.
You too, Brandon.
Congratulations. We finished the season, a 24-12 regular season win last Thursday night over the Meridian Wildcats. What did you and the staff learn from that film?
Well, we were, number one, proud to win. We finished a really nice regular season and played another really good team in Meridian, very athletic and talented, and so proud of the win. Definitely didn't play at our best. We turned the ball over, had several big touchdowns called back on penalties and things like that, but we were able to survive and able to make enough plays to again beat a really good talented team and senior night, and I thought it was very good. Appreciate you. Thought you did a really good job. Guys really were made felt special, and you had a lot to do with that. So we appreciate you and all that you do for our guys and our team. So it was a special night, and glad that we won. It's always good to win, and we've been doing that a lot lately, and proud to do it, and again for our seniors.
Well, it was an uncharacteristic game, 8 penalties for almost 90 yards, 2 touchdowns called back, a 1 surefire touchdown pass dropped. So you talk about what I did, Coach. I thought you were going to be mad at me because I thought maybe I added to some of the distractions. You were worried about that going into that game, maybe there being some distractions. Do you chalk it up to that's what it could have been being senior night? Also, the kids maybe looking ahead, or how would you characterize that? Because that didn't look like Viking football.
Yeah, we didn't. We did some things that we can't do if we want to win in these playoffs, and I think we were due one of those types of games. I thought there was a lot going on, and you have to guard yourself from that each and every week. And week 10, I think it caught up with us a little bit. I think it was accumulation of several different things. We do have a high expectation around here and play a really good brand of football, and we won't make excuses for it. We just got to make sure that it doesn't happen again, and that'll be our focus moving forward.
Yeah, well, if you're going to do it in the regular season instead of playoffs, right?
That's right.
Get it over with. Well, Trey Hall, a very special night for him. We've talked about him all season. He broke DeMond Patton's Warren Central all-time reception record on senior night. Had to be special for you knowing that he broke that record on his senior night. What did you think of that?
Well, we wanted to get it to him early. Wanted to make sure he got it, number one. But there's so many people that play a part in that, and first of all, his quarterback and Coach Rob, offense coordinator, calling plays, and his offensive line, and that's not only this year. That's accumulation of him playing since he was a sophomore. So, but Trey is well deserving of it, and very proud that he's got it. And DeMond was a special player for us as well, and so I'm glad that Trey got that for his sake and for our team's sake, and that's just another big accomplishment and goal that he's been able to acquire over his career. So he's been a great player, playing at a really high level. He's been doing it consistently, really throughout district play, and I think the best is yet to come for Trey still. He has really tapped into something, and he's got that eye of the tiger look in him. So I'm just very proud of him for that accomplishment.
Yeah, congratulations to Trey. Congratulations to DeMond. Both were system guys, Coach. They played a lot for us, started as a sophomore, so they played a lot of ball, but congratulations to both of them. A 9-1 regular season record, 6-1 in region play. You finished at the top of standings, but unfortunately tiebreaker sends us down to a 3 seed. But that aside, I know you and the staff have to be proud of the record the guys put together.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are district champs, or co-district champs, and we pulled a 3 seed from the point system. But that doesn't mean that district championship's just not as much of ours as it is them. And so I'm proud of them. We've had just a special year. We know we talked about it a little bit in the meeting. You can't pat yourself on the back and reflect a whole lot during the season because there's so much in front of you coming at you full speed. But I wanted to make sure that they knew that the year was special, and that how much that we were proud of them, the community's proud of them. All the old Vikings are just very proud of them, and they made us all proud, and just put our best foot forward and make a run at this the state championship, but they've had a special year for sure that we'll look back on when all the dust clears and really be proud of them and be amazed actually about what they were able to accomplish.
Well, the regular season is done. Now it's time for the playoffs. This is Viking Talk. We're visiting with Josh Morgan. Coach, this week we're going to hit the road as a 3 seed. Talked about that going down to Gulfport in the first round, taking on Coach Archie and his team. What have you learned about the Admirals?
Well, they're a very good football team, very well coached, have really good football players. You know, they've had a really good year, sitting at 9-2, and they have just had a year that almost mirrors ours. You know, they just had a very successful year, and Coach Archie has been really getting that program back going in the right direction. And Gulfport, of course, is really a perennial power down on the coast. They're always in that conversation, and really big school and a lot of tradition there, and they're going to be at the right places, doing the right things, and got playmakers all over the field. So, and on top of that, they've got a quarterback that's been playing a really long time. So, there's a reason that they've been so successful, and they're going to be a hard out.
2 losses are probably to the best teams on the coast. One to Picayune in 5A, the other to Ocean Springs. Both are quality programs. This isn't somebody you can overlook.
No, not at all. And they're the higher seed, and we're going to their house, and a long road trip that's in front of us, and I'm sure it'll be a hostile environment, and so those are a lot of there's a lot of things that are going against us right there. It was the trip and them being able to play at home. So we're going to have to be at our best. We're going to have to do a good job of handling the travel and really getting off the bus ready to go and competing for 4 quarters. But I tell you, our guys are about as prepared as we can be. We've been in situations throughout the year. We found different ways to win. We've won on special teams, offense and defense. We've won close games at the last second. We've been dominant and here of late in some shape, form, or fashion. Know what that looks like, and so these guys have seen a lot, played a tough schedule, very well prepared, and it's just like I told our guys. All we have to do is make sure that we treat this as a business trip, all carrying the same goal in our mind, and be the best version of ourselves as we can possibly be.
This Gulfport offense, very explosive, 35 points a game, coach, in region play. Defensively, we have given up some plays when we faced big-time offenses, Brandon, Oak Grove, Northwest Rankin. We've gave up some plays on the back end of our defense. How has that prepared you, though, and how have you prepared this week to hopefully mitigate for that against this Gulfport offense?
Well, they're I would say they're very similar to those 2 types of offenses that you mentioned. They have some very good receivers, skill players, two really good backs that are very elusive, and a quarterback that just really makes them go. So they're definitely, I would definitely call them explosive on offense, and again, they put up a lot of points, and again, a seasoned quarterback that's always tough to face, especially in the playoffs. So our guys have had experience, and there's really no substitute for that. We've been in big games. We've played very good players. We've seen very good offenses, and the more you see it, the better you get at it. And we've been able to coach. We're deep into the season, and they've had more coaching and more reps and more experience. So I would just to answer your question, I think that we're just a little bit more older and mature, and just seen more. And our guys have done a good job and getting better every week. And I just hope we can keep winning so they can continue to improve, because they've been fun to watch.
Absolutely. Well, defensively, they're going to run a 3-man front, coach, yielding 23 points a game. Their leading tackler, Landon Pettis, 123 tackles, and outside linebacker. They also have a safety with over 100 tackles. How important is it going to be knowing that the majority of their tackles are coming from the linebackers and the safeties for the offensive linemen to get up the field this week to keep our backs clean this week?
Well, the front 3 are very good players. They're disrupting. They might not be making a lot of tackles, but they're definitely dictating. What what the defensive linebackers in that second and third levels are seeing, and so they're good up front, and they're very aggressive on the back end. Again, like I told you earlier, feel like they're well coached, going to be exactly where they're supposed to be and fit real good in the run game. So it's going to be, it's offensive line, defensive line type of football game, and that's usually what playoffs, entail. But it's going to be important for us. And again, I think our guys have seen some really good fronts. I think that that really prepares us for these types of games and these types of runs. But we're going to try to do our best, doing a good job of mixing it up on the perimeter and inside. And keeping them honest, and also balancing ourselves out. Of course, Trey's got a lot to do with that, but it's going to be imperative that our offensive line not only gets a push, but we continue to climb and work to that second level for us to make those big yardage plays.
The back half of their defense, they're led by cornerback Prince Cottingham, 7 interceptions on the season, a good-sized cornerback. Coach, what have you seen from them in their secondary? It's like they cause confusion. They run some zones, different types of coverages. What have you seen from them that cause confusion for quarterbacks?
Well, they're very long at the corner position. They're two really good-looking corners, 5'11", 6 foot, long and rangy guys that can run, do a good job of tackling. They're moving their secondaries, and they're either going to roll the safety down just about every other play, or roll a corner down and trying to mix up your coverages and getting to different looks and being multiple in different aspects. So we're going to have to do a good job. Jack's going to have to do a good job of recognizing where coverage is and seeing the field, pre-snap reads, and also we'll do some things offensively to help with that, with checking the play and seeing where they're lining up in. And so, but again, I felt like that our guys are prepared, and that's all we can ask for. And just got to be good at what we're doing, and know where to go with the ball, and understanding, how decision making can really get you out of a lot of trouble if it's done the right way. So we're again try to help him with some pre-snap stuff as well.
Quarterback Jacob Palazzo is leading the charge for them, completing 60% of his passes, thrown for 1,900 yards, 11 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. He also seems to be a very good quarterback running the zone read. Coach, what have you saw from him, and talk about the challenges that you have when you're facing a quarterback that can run the zone read the way that he can?
So these dual threat quarterbacks, it's a term that seems to be always used, but he really is one of those type of guys. Number one is he's a very accurate passer. Again, he's very experienced. We've got to do a good job, but also walk a fine line with pressure. We have to pressure him, but we also have to contain him, and that's something that we've been working on. We want to get him off his mark and make him move and make it hard on his timing and what he's seeing. But at the same time, we can't run past him. We can't open up lanes for us, because he's athletic enough to pull it down and really get some big yards on the scramble game. So there's a fine line that we've got to walk and got to be careful, because again, he can make you pay for bringing blitzes after him, and he's also going to know where to go with the ball, quite sure of, as far as pre-snap reads as well. So we're going to have to do a good job of coming at him, when to come at him, and also disguising our looks as best as we can.
Very similar on offense from them. From an offensive line standpoint, and backs, they're averaging about 164 yards a game on the ground. We're averaging about 185 on the ground at Warren Central here. But they're led by Emmanuel Bentley, a youngster that's been around that program for a while. What have you seen from their rushing attack, and do you think it's similar to what we try to do here at Warren Central?
Well, I maybe similar. They do a good job of if a hole's not there, if something's not there, they're making things happen. So, that's kind of like when you got everything covered on the defensive end, and then the quarterback takes off and gains a big gain. It's the same thing in a run game. When you got the holes clogged up and you've made the right fits, and then all of a sudden the running back bounces it and goes where he's not supposed to go and makes something happen. So both of those guys, number 1 and number 7, are two really good tailbacks that have done a good job of making something out of nothing if the hole's not there. So, we've got to do a good job of pursuing and fitting, really running to the ball and having great pursuit and containing these guys from the tailbacks to to the quarterback as well. And then again, that they're going to be a challenge to get off the field. So we've got to do a good job of minimizing those big plays, making them earn everything that they get, and also being opportunistic when plays present themselves. But we've got to bring pressure. That's what we do. We just got to be smart in what we're doing, and we've got to contain really these backs and quarterback.
You look at these two teams, offensively and defensively, they seem similar on paper anyway. I know the game's not played on paper, we know that. But let's talk about the importance of winning the special teams this Friday night. That might be an area that you may have to have the edge in. Do you think so?
Yeah, anytime that you got teams that are evenly matched, you're always looking for edges and ways that you can benefit that helps you win. And we need our special teams to be big. I feel like we can get an edge on them. I feel like that. And that's one thing that we always try to do is find a way to edge and spend probably a little more time on special teams than most people. But again, hidden yards, field position, whether it's fair catching a punt, not letting it roll, or whether it's getting a good return, or heck, everybody's trying to onside kick it and pooch kick it these days, and whether it's getting that and getting the ball at the 40, whether it's protecting our punter when we have to punt, and I also feel like our field goal team has been very good. So those are going to be, anytime talent is close and competition is close, and in big games, special teams usually is one of those swingers that can really swing a team one way or the other. So we're relying on that. We're preparing for that, and of course we need to find it any way we can to pull this win out.
Long trip down to Gulfport, 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours on the bus, depending on the traffic. But at any rate, you have experience. You went down to the Pine Belt twice this season, taking on Oak Grove and Petal, did well in those games. But how do you plan to keep the team focused and loose when you go on a trip as long as the one you've got to take this Friday night?
Well, we usually try to split our trip up in half. And the first thing is really truly feel like that that's probably the biggest advantage they have is us traveling and them not. And so, the way we look at it is, we're going to try to make this trip really nice for our kids, really organized, and make it a plus for us. We're going to do things the right way and travel well and try to make it an enjoyable trip, and we're going to get them out of class a little bit earlier than we normally do and feed them, and when you get on that trip right at the beginning, you just need to be laid back and kind of hang out and just really go to sleep and rest. And we're going to stop about halfway point and eat and got a nice meal planned for them there. And then when you get on the bus at that point in time, that's kind of when you got to get your game mode on and really start focusing in on playing. And again, it kind of cuts that trip in half, and it's not as bad for them. But again, this is a business trip. This is our journey. This is what we got to do, and we all know what's at stake. And this is a business trip, and I anticipate them, traveling very well because we can't afford not to. We've got too much invested in this, and we've got to handle that the right way. So we put a lot of focus on it. We call it what it is, and we try to win the traveling game at it. And we're very conscientious about doing that. And and our players have responded well to that. We've had some success early on in the first round, having to travel when we do. So feel good about our plan, feel good about our trip, and guys just got to make sure that they're handling it the right way.
Well, how was practice this week with the guys, Coach?
We had a good week of practice. Had a long weekend. They had Friday. We came in after the game Thursday, and we came in Friday and got a head start on film. And we had a good meeting Friday, and we had plenty of stuff that we needed to talk about and get ironed out. And had a long weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. Came back Monday, it's exciting. It's exciting, and it's an exciting time. We're glad that we're a part of it. They've earned that. Now it's all about this is the most brutal time of the year, and it just is. And there's going to be one team that's so joyful and so ecstatic, and there's going to be another team that's heartbroken because it's over, and that's what playoffs bring. And this is high level stuff. It's very good football teams, and we've got to prepare ourselves for that, and we've got to understand everything that's at stake, And the very first thing that I told them Monday here is, having been around here and watching all of these playoff games and being a part of it, you got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and have no regrets. And you got to make sure that you've done all that you can do to prepare yourselves to play in this type of a game, because you know, when you look back 20 years from now, you always remember these types of games. And they're big, they're fun, and we've had a really good week of preparation. Our kids, you can see that they've turned it up a notch mentally. And we've had good practices, upbeat practices, and they're very prepared.
Well, what are going to be the keys to victory this week against Gulfport, Coach?
So, you know, defensively, I'll start with is we've got a really daunting task that we're going to have to be. We're going to have to be very stingy with points. We're going to have to be very stingy with field position and third down conversions. We're going to have to play at a very high level, and we're going to have to and are prepared to use multiple defenses and tackle well. And we've done a good job of that. We've tackled well. We're going to have to create turnovers. We're going to have to really do a good job defensively. Offensively, man, you look at our offenses over the really since the Brandon game, we have been surgical almost in our execution, just going to work, you know, very methodic. And I think that consistency, if we can continue to bring that and take care of the football, we've done a good job other than Meridian. You know, even with Meridian, we had one of our second best offensive outputs, which is you take away those holding calls, you catch that long touchdown pass, you don't turn the ball over twice, you're on to that again. So we know what winning football looks like, and we've got to make sure we're playing it. It's taking care of the football, running the ball and stopping the run, and being really clean with penalties. And then, like we talked about on the kicking game, how important that's going to be. And we got to make sure that we're protecting our kickers at all time, especially in the punt. You know, a block punt, it would be, you know, big either way, and it's a really big momentum swinger. And then got to be solid in our return games. And also Jonah and our field goal team has been very efficient throughout the year, and we need them to maintain that consistency as well. So again, guys need to be the best versions of themselves, and you know, I believe it's going to be enough if we'll play that away.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
It's going to be a fun trip down there tomorrow night. Looking forward to talking with you after the game. Well, I hope you join us. It's going to be a long ride. It's not much else going on tomorrow night around here, so come join us. We'll go down there. A little rain coming back, but then we're going to have some cool weather, so hopefully you can be a part of a Viking win. It's going to be a tough game. We need all the support we can get. But we want to thank you for all your support throughout the season here at home and on the road. It's been a very special season. We look forward to being back here next week. If we're back next week, that means we're playing another game. So we're going to plan on being here. But for any rate, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the show. For Josh Morgan, I'm Brandon Davis. We'll see you next week. Until then, rise up, Vikings.